submit it here. Still says likely to be generated by AI. So it looks like very hard to now bypass the fact that the content itself was written by AI. Hey guys, welcome to this channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at the new AI classifier recently launched by OpenAI to detect AI written text. Now the goal obviously is to distinguish between the content that is written by AI and humans. Now there are a bunch of tools that are available out there in the market that detect AI text, but we're going to be looking at specifically this tool today primarily because a lot of content that you guys might have generated previously might have been using ChatGPT, right? So you may have written blogs, you may have written emails. Goal of this classifier or tool is to detect if the content was generated by the AI. If you're new to generative AI and these techniques and you're trying to learn about video, audio, text and image generation, how you can automate a lot of your work, check out my course. I've added the link in the description. It's running on heavy discount now. Go ahead and check that out. And the reason why it's important for having this tool in place is primarily because when you generate content using AI, the content itself is first limited to the amount of knowledge that the machine has about the world. So for example, ChatGPT 3 specifically was trained until 2021. And if you've taken suggestions in 2023, it's primarily the outdated suggestion. You may have made wrong decisions because of the tool itself. So the goal of this tool is to detect if it was written by AI. This tool may also be used by companies like Google in order to detect the blogs written by machine and then uploaded by the users to their content or platforms, right? Now the thing is that if the end users end up reading these blogs written by machine, while it will help you rank for that blog from the perspective of SEO, it won't necessarily add any value to the user. So from the standpoint of the end user and Google, this may lead to a terrible experience, which is why this tool is important to distinguish the content written by AI. Now what we'll also do is we'll try checking a content that we had generated using AI, and then we'll use certain techniques that are available today to bypass those checks and see if the OpenAI's classifier is able to detect that content as well. So let's get into this, but just a quick note on this, right? So if you dive into this document now, so again, if you want, you can quickly read through this, or I'll just give you a gist of what this says, right? So again, the goal is to classify between AI written text, primarily because this can help mitigate false claims, and this false claim can arise from the fact that the data may have been updated. We'll also try the classifier, but just a quick note on why this is important. So our classifier is not fully reliable. You can see 26% of AI written text is true positive, meaning the expected scenario is likely a written text, while there is 9% false positive as well. So the content that was not written by AI but was called as written by AI. So it improves as the length of the text increases, but again, this is not completely reliable. So this is publicly available to get feedback and improve the model, just like they did with ChatGPT. Before we go in the classifier, let's look at the limitation. So it's unreliable on short texts. Sometimes human written content will be confidently labeled as AI written by our classifier, which is the false positive. We recommend using the classifier only for English. It's not as good on other languages. Text is very predictable but cannot be reliably identified. For example, it's hard to predict who wrote the first 1000 prime numbers. That's true. AI can be edited to evade classifier. Classifiers like ours can be updated and retrained based on successful attacks. So again, this is the technique that I was talking about, right, where people are paraphrasing and then putting in content. Classifier based on neural networks are also known to be poorly calibrated outside of their training data. Again, you can go ahead and take a look at this. It's talking about impact on educators and call for input. So these are, this is more of a research, from a research standpoint, how the training was done and the impact that's expected post the release of this classifier. But what we'll do is we'll now just go and try the classifiers, right? So this is similar, right? So you have to log in using your registered email with OpenAI, and you will be landed on this screen where it will again give you the same set of overview, right? So limitations, It requires a minimum of 100 characters. The classifier isn't always accurate. AI generated text can be easily edited easily to evade the classifier. Likely to things get wrong, text were written by children and not in English. Okay, so all that in mind, let's get a blog that I had generated long back using ChatGPT. So this is the blog, and post this, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and try the paraphrasing tool and see it on a bunch of text to see if it's able to detect it. So okay, let's submit it, and the result will display here. So this says the classifier considers text to be likely AI generated, which is true, right? And if you want to understand what kind of results to expect, right? So it's either as very unlikely, clear if it is, possibly, or likely. So this is the highest level, right? Possibly is the maybe it was written. Unclear if it is, right? So this is where it is not able to. Unlikely when it's completely human generated, and to certain extent human generated, and very unlikely is like completely human generated. How effectively does the classifier detect documents co-written with AI? Oh, you can take a look at this, right? So I'm just going to take this, go to this paraphrasing tool, and this technique, by the way, has been used by a lot of the current, you'll see this on a lot of current videos, right? Where people are using paraphrasing tools in order to rephrase the whole document and then check if the content is, detected by AI, right? So let's see if this works on the AI classifier. So for advanced paraphrase, we'll also try some data with advanced paraphrase, right? So I think it will redirect me to Quillbot, but let's try basic paraphrase first. So the basic paraphrase is done. I'm just going to copy and paste it here again. So now it's gone from likely AI to possibly AI, merely by doing some basic paraphrasing in the text. Let's try the advanced paraphrase. Again, for this you need a paid plan, and because I don't have a paid plan, I'm just going to take some of the text and then try and see if I can replace that some text with the one in this paraphrase. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, so now in the previous one it showed it was possibly generated by AI. Now let's see what result we are able to get here. So it says likely generated by the AI again. So again, I tried like both the techniques where it's either possibly or likely. We'll try one more block, but let's see if we're able to remove half of the content that, okay, let's see if this will work. Okay, you need at least 100 characters. So let's take one paragraph from the paraphrase to this. Oh, it looks like I copied the wrong this. So hold on, let me try again. Let me try the same technique again. Okay, now it should again go to possibly. Oh no, it's still likely. Anyway, so you can see that it is detecting the content written by AI even when you paraphrase this, right? So let's try it again. Still likely to be AI. If I did some basic paraphrasing, it's showing me possibly generated by AI. But if I use the advanced paraphrasing, it says it's likely generated by AI. There's more confidence on it being generated by AI when I use the advanced paraphrase. Now, just to be like aligned on this, let's try one more block that was again generated by AI. So we'll go here, we'll paste. Says it's likely generated by the AI, we'll paraphrase it. Okay, let's do basic paraphrasing. Okay, I think it's done. Let me copy this and let's try it now. Okay, it still says it's likely generated by the AI tool. Let's try advanced paraphrasing, where if not everything, we'll paste. So it looks like we can only do until here. So let's just do till generative AI and then paste rest of the content. Okay, paraphrase. Looks like it's done. Let's copy this. Okay. Let's take it from the development and paste it here. Submit it here. Still says likely to be generated by AI. So it looks like the post the AI classifier has come out. It's very hard to now bypass the fact that the content itself was written by AI. So I think this will probably need to dig further and see what is the best way to kind of add an element where some content is generated by AI and some content is now written by human in order to improve the accuracy of the data, or merely by understanding that or merely by improving the output of the data per se. So, and I think this is the kind of walkthrough I also wanted to give with respect to the chat GPT AI, the AI text classifier. I hope you like this video. If yes, consider subscribing to the channel, drop a like on the video, share this across with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much, guys.